The giveaway for this 1990 Fox Body Mustang ends tonight. This is the first and last Fox Body we're ever going to do. They're just so expensive now. It's not really justifiable to keep doing them. So if you want a Fox Body for Christmas, enter the giveaway. Links in the description. Buy a mug, digital download, someone's going to win. I wish I had more footage. I wish I had good audio with myself and Ian Fidance. This was the biggest get we've ever gotten, probably second to being able to do an entire series with Tom Clark from the band The Enemy, formerly of the band The Enemy, excuse me. Ian Fidance was a fantastic friend to have along for this show. I want to do more stuff with comedians, but I don't know how. I'm open to suggestions. I have all these podcasts I listen to, and in a very, fear of missing out, I want to be part of their world. And I want to offer to people whose content I enjoy all the connections that I've made as an automotive journalist. I mean, do you have any ideas about what to do? I know this is a video promoting our giveaway, but here I'm asking your advice to expand regular car reviews into areas, because I feel like we're almost saturated now as far as RCR is to the automotive world. Like, if you're a car person, you know what this channel is, and yet we're not at 1 million subscribers. But it's really getting to 1 million is just for my own ego's sake. But also with that will come perhaps higher revenue, which means we can do other fun projects. I want to recreate the car from Crazy Taxi and drive it around. More on that at another time. And I apologize, there's no really audio, even though you see Ian Fidance and myself talking in this clip. The audio is unusable because that microphone cable attached to the GoPro mic that Ian's holding popped out a little bit. So the mic, the sound that you hear is the onboard sound from the GoPro, and all you hear is 5-0. So to close, here is some good audio with us comparing the modern 5.0 to the classic 302, which is the same engine. Anyway, me. So the 5.0, Ford tried to say that this thing was a new engine. That, we're finally getting into the modern era. Except there's nothing new about the 5-liter because it's just a 302. This is one of the longest running engines in American history, going all the way back to 1960. Well, really one with a 260. There might have been even a 255. People on Wikipedia can correct me. I'm sorry, I don't know every derivation of the Ford small block. But this engine was on life support for the longest time. And this is the best version of it when it finally had fuel injection. You see, under the intake plenum, under all the accessories, it's still this. This is the same block. Now granted, yes, there's going to be like, but it's not a roller motor. But it had this lift in the duration. But it had these type of valves on it. The headers are different. It's the same fucking motor. Sorry for swearing. And I lament that even in its day, there was nothing really revolutionary about the Ford small block. The fluid dynamics, I argue, of the Chevy small block, the Chevy 350, is way better than the 302. Now granted, there was no direct opposite. The Chevy 305 was a complete shit show. And so probably the closest number, I know Leno said this, but the closest thing to a 302 is really the Chevy 327. But when you come back here to the 5.0, they were trying to hide the fact that they were just rewarming an engine from the 60s deep into the 90s. And it didn't end here with the Mustang, even though this was done in 93. This engine was still being manufactured in trucks and other things with different intakes on them. And there's a fatal flaw of the 5.0. You try to push this thing past 500 horsepower, the block splits in half. And Bruce Henn from Bruce Henn's Garage has had to, they make kits to hold this block together. Like people wrapping their arms as, like when they're in like heavy deadlift competitions, to keep this engine block from just splitting apart. And yet it's loved. And people cried out in protest when they came out with the Ford 4.6 modular, because, oh, it's not a 5-liter, you're giving us less displacement, and here is this thing, we just want the 5.0 again. To the point when they came out with the S550, they're like, fine, we will have a 5-liter engine for you, everybody who got butthurt that this engine doesn't exist anymore. Anyway, I concede that I don't like Cal induction hoods. They're a great way to not see the curb, but the history of this car is very strange because it's clearly race prepped. But when you look inside the engine, all of the accessories here, I don't see any marks here on the paint, anything. Usually when you race prep a car, all of the accessories go away. It's just made to be on a track. It doesn't even, obviously, it still has the freaking AC compressor in here. So I'm guessing what was going on is this was a streetable car that either a blower existed here, although I'm kind of inclined to say that it's not, because there's no real marks on any of the pulleys. My guess is there was a pro charger. I know I'm using brand terms, but it may have had a pro charger here with something else going on, because this intake plenum right here is very clean. So that might have been what's going on. This thing has big injectors in it. It breathes really well. So this thing already feels like it's ready for some forced induction. Anyway, let's drive it. Good, good.